My name's Lex, and this is the art lesson we're doing today. It's a cat's eye, and we're just focusing on just the eye in watercolor and acrylic. This is the acrylic painting study, and I'll guide you through the entire process. So each lesson is a full lesson. I get you from the light sketch to the finish study. And right here is the watercolor painting. Same idea, sketch, and I get you all through the watercolor study. So I hope you enjoy this. It's in 2 chapters so that you can break off to, if you want to do the watercolor, or you want to do the acrylic, or you want to do both. That would be great too. It does have everything you pretty much need to do any painting, with mixing colors inside here as well. And I'll put the price in where you can get it on Amazon. Then I have the cheapest brand I think you could get, Crayola. There might be a cheaper one, and I shouldn't say cheaper, I should say less expensive. I still could paint the same painting with these as well, so you shouldn't deny yourself painting. If I have this set, which is nice, but look, the set has stained this, so for me to teach you on this would be kind of hard to mix the colors here and show you what's going on. So it's just a different one. I wouldn't be able to do that. I work on it as well. It's not as expensive as the the Winsor Newton, but it's still a really good set. And then here's another Winsor Newton set, which are tubes, and you just take out the tube and open it up and put it on to a palette. Good thing about watercolors is they never go bad, so they don't dry up. They do dry up, but you can re-wet this and it comes alive. So that's the great thing about watercolors. Acrylic does not. Once acrylics are dried, that's the end of that. So I have a glass of clean water, and I'm going to lightly draw in the cat with the pencil. Now I'm going to really lightly draw it. I'm going to use also the paintbrush that came with the kit, so I can show you that you only need that one brush to do the painting. It's not a really big painting, so this is how it comes, like this. So it's nice. So then you just do this, put the end on, and you have yourself a brush. So I'm going to lightly draw in the cat, and then we'll go from there. So just bringing in the head and the ear. Now again, this isn't as important as the eye, but we're doing this for the context of placing the eye. Come right in here. The forehead, the head comes a little bit more that way, and the middle would be like here, but okay, we're just going to lightly do this. Now this is the textured side. You can see when I'm just lightly doing it, it's fairly textured. Bring that here. I don't need to really put a lot in because I'm going to paint it in. Brush with some water, and because it's a green eye, let's place a little bit of that green there. Here's a paper towel to wipe it down if you need to get that out there to get the yellow. I take stuff all the time and place it on, but then you're contaminating. So you're going to lightly change that to a lighter color like that. So we're going to go in there. Let's block out where that iris would go, or pupil. Okay, we're not touching that center area. So let's block in a couple spots that we're not touching, like right here. Leave those white. So now we're going to come here. So I'm doing everything in light washes. So I built up my color. I want that really light. So I'm using the water. I'm going to take the water and pull the color all the way around, like that. And just wipe away the difference, because you want lights and midtones and dark. So you want to use that magical part of the green where we used to pull that from. Okay, so I'm going to grab this green, put it right here. Let's see what that is. It's a little darker. Okay, so now I have a little paint, not a lot, in my brush, and I'm going to go right up to that darker and using it like in the more water. Go around, which would be the darkest part. We'll put it in a minute. And I'm going to go all around here. And watercolor is really one of the more difficult medium to use because it's not as forgiving as acrylic. Acrylic you can paint over anything. Now I'm taking a little bit of that yellow. I'm going to pull it all the way around here. I'm following the eye because I really want to use different tones. And then I'm going to bring it, using what I have there in the brush, pull it towards, the paper is wet. So I'm pulling all that color towards the center. And now look at how much tonal color I have. Okay, so I want a little, this color, which is like a golden color, I'll bring it over there. Rinse my brush, wipe it down a little bit. Trying to keep from contaminating my colors because I do it all the time on my own, but I don't need to teach you to do things like that. Okay, so I'm mixing that orange and the yellow. Get enough water in there to move it. And I'm going to come right up to this piece. Put that in. You want to use those lighter colors underneath the darker colors to kind of make it look more alive. Okay, so I wouldn't just jump into a dark color right in here. That would be not as interesting. So I'm going to take this all the way around here like this. And let that seep a little bit into that. You can move some of this out this way, inferencing the hair. Okay. Let's take a little bit of this red and some of that. And a little bit of this brown. I don't want it solid yet. I want to build it up. So I'm bringing some of those in while it's wet. I'm just going to take this down like this and broaden it out here. Take some of that out. You kind of want to use, sometimes less is more. You can actually pull the paint. Let's take this and move it that way. Take some of the hair. You can take the point of your brush and just take, moving that. You can barely see it. Let's see what that color this is. Yep. Just to outline a little bit there. Okay, now let's go in for the dark now that we're there. I think I would move it. Let's see. I think this is the blue. Don't have to stay with a jet black because we have choices here. Let's see what this color is. Let's move that color with this color. Move those together. That'll give us a nice dark, and then we can just go over it again. And I'll leave a little bit of a highlight right there. I'm going to go right up to here. And bring this down like this. This bends like right in here. There. No, I can leave that tone there for now. Let's soften this bottom part. And then start moving around the eye. We don't want to finish everything. We want to finish it totally all together. You need water. Water is always helpful to move the color. Because it's a painting, it doesn't have to be literal. Like, if something appears black, you don't have to paint it black. Okay, let's come around here. If something doesn't look right, you could take a little piece of towel and sort of wipe it away a little bit. You can get the water, clean your brush. This is a study, but you know, I'm just showing you different things you can do. You can wash it sort of away. Let's see, it should be a little bit wider here. Let's cut in with this. Make the eye more shaped. Again, this can't happen in like 5 minutes. You can't paint the way you want to paint in 5 minutes. It does take time. Notice I'm moving towards the finished piece. I'm not doing the finished piece. I'm moving towards it. I'm figuring things out, like the shape of the eye. Now I'm bringing a little bit of that color that I had in the brush into the painting. Kind of sneak it in a little bit there. Pull it down, take away a little bit, and using what's there and pulling this way, which is interesting with the painting. Even with this, remember, this isn't super solid once you put it down like acrylic would be. You could use that blue and pull away from it and get more interesting tones. So now listen, I'm taking from this and pulling some of that, and I could fill it back in too. What's fun about being an artist is you can learn things along the way. You know, you just say, oh, I think I'll try this and see what happens. These are studies. They're not, you know, they're not going to constrain you. You want to be experimental. You want to try things. Go back into that, and let's bring in some of that green. Watercolor has a beautiful way about it because you're using the paper too to your advantage. Let's go and get a little bit more. And you're playing with different tones and the light. All right, let's grab this guy and bring it over here, this color. And bring it over here like that. So now I'm gonna take that color, come on the side here. Water some of this color in here and bring this color up into the painting of his eye. Now also entering up here, leaving a little bit of the highlight, but bringing that color up there. All that blue with the green. Just gonna bring, I'm gonna go around this area like this. And just keep going back to the palette, because the palette has up here what we need. Here I'm going to bring some of the red in. I need water. Go in for water. Bring the red in. And grab a little bit of blue. And start to bring in some other tones in here with a different color. I think I'm going to take some of this and pull the hairs out this way because we have to add some hair in here. I could take some of this gold, get water, wash out that other color. Let's put that over there. Let's take some of this and go this way with it. Again, I'm using the paper as part of the piece. Pull these hairs this way. Using that nice color, we're just going to take little tiny hairs. This brush is really nice for the pointed part. It's a good brush. It's a good investment on the Winsor Newton. This little set is, you can put it in your pocket, you can carry it in your handbag or your knapsack or wherever you want to go and do that. So this does not have a black, so you could get one if you wanted, or Payne's Gray, get a little set of an extra little to have your darks, but we can make your darks. Go look at, we're making the darks out of what we need. Yeah, let's get that coming around here like that. We need a dark to offset the eye and around it. You always want to get water, move the paint with water. Or if you want it like a darker, you can use like what's in the brush. Just get enough, take some of the water out, and then add the darkest tones. I just like to build it up slowly. Get this in here by coming this way. Really, because of the colors, it really just has like a magic about it. I think color is just amazing. I'm going to come back over here and add a little more color. Pull a little bit that way. I have stuff in my brush, so I'm just going to be using that. See if we can get some of this a little bit off. When you, by doing the studies, when you go to do the final painting, you'll have practice doing, you know, the different parts of the cat. And it won't be overwhelming to try to pull off, you know, doing the eye. I would do more than just one study. I would practice quite a bit just to get all this in. Plus, it's fun. Painting anything is fun. I'm going to go back into here and start to put some of the darks in there too. By having the different tones, it makes the painting more interesting. And you could see we didn't use any black in here. We created a dark. So now bring a little bit more in there. Let's see. And all this does is takes time and patience. You know, I didn't paint for a few years by doing, I got into Adobe Illustrator, so you're illustrating on an iPad, and you get rusty when you're not doing this every day, painting or illustrating on paper, pencil, or micron pen, even painting in acrylic. If you don't paint often, it does get that you have to practice again. And yeah, I actually had to figure things back out again once you're onto a different medium, which I do love the fact that if you need to remove something in Illustrator, you can do it by removing a layer, but it doesn't have the magic that painting or drawing has. So I started out as an illustrator, but I'm more of a painter now. So I feel most comfortable painting, I think. And I mostly paint in acrylic. Okay, let's go back and do a little bit more because the green is so magical. Let's go back in and get some of the yellow. Bring that in here. Right in here. It just brightens everything up. Let's just use a little bit of this and pull. This cat hair is long ones. Let's pull some long cat hairs here just because we can. And some shorter ones right in here. So you can see I'm just using same brush, light, same paint, but using light strokes, letting the water and the watercolor do the trick. And let's bring this up here. And I'll come back and I'll look at it and I'll think, do I need to change anything? Yeah, I think so right in here. Let's just move this up here like that and just get that right. Look, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I'm going to take that blue and go right into there and darken that. Because we really need a little darker right there. And it'll set back the eye a bit too. Because you don't want it the same tone. Okay, so let's bring that all around like that. And we could take some up like this for... I'll take that red and go right in there too. Okay, could take a break right now and look at it and walk away. I really highly recommend that. Walk away, see what's going on, come back, see what's missing. I always do that. I really do. I always do. I go and, what did I miss? What did I miss? What shape did I miss? Look for shapes always too. What shape did I miss? What tone did I miss? Is it the way I want it to be? Okay, yeah, we'll take a break. We can come back and we'll see what's going on. And here's our acrylic palette. Cadmium red, cadmium yellow, sienna, white, Payne's gray, and Hooker's green. The only one that's not Liquitex is the white, which is golden. I'll lightly draw on the cat like we did the other, let's see, the other cats. I'm gonna just take the head and bring in the ear. Now remember, all this is extra stuff that's not necessary because we're only focusing on the eye, but because we want to place everything where it would belong, we're going to lightly draw it out. So I made the ear. Bring this over here like that. And the center of the head would be somewhere right here. So what we're going to do is bring a line down. What I do is bring a line down, and right where this bends, we'll bring the top of the eye right here. So bring a curve down, And the nose would be right in here. So we could just like lightly draw. And then this little piece here, and they'll curve back down. So you could do is lightly draw the circle in if that's helpful, and place it in like that, and we can get rid of that line. So we have the round part of the eye. And now we can get rid of that top part. That worked out. It's all good. With acrylic, this can all be painted out, which is so lovely about acrylic. Okay, so we have the shape in. Okay. Get a little white, believe it or not, just a little bit of white with yellow. And we want to sort of bring this in there and grab a little of the gray. The green is really thick. I've had it for a while. But I really want this to treat this almost like a watercolor wash. You can still do that in acrylics, but let's bring in that little shape for its center. So we're going to bring that like that. I'm going to grab the Payne's gray. Let's put that in the shape in to start with. Get a paper towel. Got a little bit of it to it. Let's put that center part in first. Okay. Kind of widens out right here. And let's put the little areas where we're not going to paint. Put that right there, and one right there, and a little one right there. Okay, good. So let's paint that in. That can go on full on Payne's, full on the full color of the Payne's gray. So now we have that piece in. All right, so let's outline the entire eye. Bring that down here. And then just shape the eye like this. Okay, we have basic shape in. There. Now I'm going to go and rinse off the brush. With acrylic, you really need to really rinse and wipe because the paint dries very quickly. Okay, now back to the square one of mixing yellow, white, actually even put the first coat of color down here. We're going to come all around here. We'll use a little of the red, very small amount. I only got it out because I wanted to introduce that with the yellow at some points in the right in this area. Okay, so we have that basic color that we're laying down first. And let's grab some of the hooker green and add that. You notice I'm not going straight onto the color, the dark color, because there's really not a big dark color in this eye. There's darker tones, but not a deep dark color. Then I'll just bring this around like this. Water is your friend too. Just like watercolors, you want to keep your paint moving. Come around like this. And I'm just gonna take some paint off my paintbrush and pull it in like this. I'm trying to come up with the colors that are in there. I'm gonna also go a little darker, grabbing this, the hooker's green, and coming into it like that. I think I'm gonna also take a tiny little dot of the red. Put that there. That gives me another color to bring right up here. Bring that right into that area. If you feel like you have too much water in your brush, you can wipe it against the paper towel. I keep it in my hand like this. So it's bring that color right up to here, and because we don't need the Payne's gray up there, we need a color. The eye is green, it's not Payne's gray. We're just using the Payne's gray for the darker parts. Acrylic dries fairly quickly. It's still drying, and I need it to dry before I can go in that area. So let's grab a little of this sienna and bring it right in here. Just put a little color down right in here. Mix that with a little bit of white. And bring this around. This sienna is a really lovely color. I use it a lot. Okay. Let's bring this piece down here like that. Let's introduce a little bit of that sienna with a little red, so grab that. We don't even really need the red. I don't see that big blob. That's a real waste of paint on my part. Okay, let's bring a little bit into this corner here of the sienna and the red. And we'll bring a little Payne's gray in later too. And then same here, we're gonna bring this color around there and then pull it a little bit this way. And it just gives a point of interest of more colors and not just using a dark color to fill in things. You want to use a multiple colors if you can. Just makes it more interesting. Okay, and then I'm going to get a thin brush to do some hairs on there. Okay, let's take a little of the Payne's gray. What I do is, you notice I bring it into the palette and move it around a little before I put it into the painting. This palette is just a piece of foam core. You could use, you want to use white, so you don't want to use like a box top where you can't really see the color true. So I use just, you can go to the dollar store and get a poster board, or you can get this foam core they have there, and you just cut it into little pieces, and then you can use them over and over. For teaching, I don't, because I need to be able to show you the colors, but you could use them over and over and flip the other side and use the other side as well. That's how I mix it. You could do it however you want. It's just, it's easier to do it like that. Okay, let's pull this around like that. Okay. I'm going to pull this color down like this a little bit. You want to get some of that paint off. So let's take a little bit of that paint, that Hooker's green, and get that over here because I really need the color. But I'm going to put a little white in it too to sort of take it down a notch. And then bring it around the eye a little bit. Need to add a little of that color, the sienna, in there. And take your time, and then if you see something you're a little overwhelmed, just take a break, you know, come back and forth. This is a study, it's not a finished painting. So if you feel overwhelmed, just come back to it. That's what I do. I come back to all my paintings I'm working on, because that way I see things differently. I'm just pulling the colors out. If you notice, I'm just going around looking at what I could do to introduce the cat's, you know, the best part for the cat's eye, because he has a lot of different things going on with highs and lows and the darks and lights and then midtones. Okay. Now, what I think I'm going to do here is, we did black this out. I kind of want to bring this in a little bit more. and then add the white to it, which is different than what we've done on the other pieces because we can, because this is an opaque paint. You can then go back over there and get rid of some of those outlines. So that looks good. Just going to take that white that's on my brush right now and grab a little of this yellow. Bring it down a little bit in here. I think I want more of the yellow, and then I'm going to just take the tiniest bit of red and bring that over here. Just enter that around here. Okay. Just got this brush from Winsor Newton. It's really nice, a detail brush. So what I'm going to do is, I want some of that to dry before I go back in there. I'm going to take this sienna and the Payne's gray and get them mixed, these two mixed together to do some of the work on the hair. So what I'll do is, from that corner, I'll just pull little lines for the hair and following the shape of the eye. The cat is light, so I don't want to make it look dark, so I'm just going to follow this around. I don't want it to dry on my brush. Okay, here we go. So I've gone over that area, and I'm going to pull let the brush do the work for you. Just going to take it and pull it this way, and you get those little light, faint lines of the two colors together. And you can go closer to, just like when we did other things, you can go closer to get the darkness showing through the light part too. And this comes down a little further, and there's some things going on right here in his eye. I'm going to grab a little Payne's gray on its own. Just get this a little more filled in. And then pull some of where that dark is, pull some of those little tiny hairs this way. Go like that. And same here. Okay, so we're just following the shape and using what we have. Just going to come around like that. Now I need to bring this in and shape the eye better. I take my time because we're not in a rush. I can't rush these to edit these any closer because it's a teaching video. I put everything in chapters, so if you need to find your chapter you're working on, you can do that. But I just can't edit these out to make them go quicker. See, we're just making all the little hairs go whatever way the eye is. Okay. Then he has a little stripe coming here. It's a cute cat. Okay, so I want to get a little darker in here, just a few more hairs. We finished up, and I think it was a fun study to do with the cat's eye. Next week we'll do the full cat face, but I just wanted to focus on the cat's eye, whether you're doing it in acrylic or watercolor or both. This will get you so you can focus on the painting going further. Like and subscribe. See you then. Thanks.